Welcome to Papa Junk Shop. Now I'm going to get a look-see at this single-cylinder diesel. See if it's going to be something worthwhile or whether it's going to be just parts. Not sure where I want to start. We'll see if it's got any oil. Just a little teeny weeny bit in the very bottom dipstick. So I think I'm going to get this, what's left of the flexible exhaust off of it, because it looks like it might be sharp, and I'll be banging into it, no doubt. So one of them, the stud come out, and this one looks like the nut's going to come off. Alright, that's out of the way. Let's take a look under the timing cover. Looks like somebody has welded that shut. And by my other diesels, I bet you that was a place for a hand crank to start it. And if it had a generator on that end, they might have used a generator to start it. So they just welded that shut. Let's see, yep, 10 millimeters. Oh, that one's got a different screw in it. It's got a slot in it instead of a hex head. Looks like there's RTV on there, so somebody's been in here before apparently. Neat. Somebody made a gasket out of a probably a cereal box, I'm guessing. And RTV. Neat. Oh boy, heavy burger. Well, there's what we got. Oh boy. Looky there, we got an extra screw in there. That's not a good sign. Doesn't look chewed up or anything. So, this would be the injector pump, and this would be the governor, and the speed control. So far, so good. I don't like the sound of that. Well, let's take a looky on this. Let's take a look in here where the connecting rod and stuff's going to be. That 10 millimeter too? Yep. Yeah, I had to go get a new camera battery, so we're back in business. Well, looks like an original gasket there, cork. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see in there or not. I'm not sure if we just got end play or if we got some. No, wait a minute here. Something's not making any sense here. Or else it's something I've never seen before. Oh, see if I can get you guys up closer here so you can see. Well, come on, camera. I'm not sure what we got going here. Say there's some little bit of end play there. Can't really tell if it's got that way or not, but I don't know what this is here, sticking out where the crankshaft goes, and it's turning. I'm not sure if it's riding up against the casting or what that is. Never seen anything quite like it. Now the whole thing's turning because I can see marks on it. So let's turn that back around here. Looks like there's a ball bearing there. Is it just a... I don't know. Strange. I guess we're going to have to do a little more disassembling to figure it out. So, let's how far I want to go with this one. Looks like maybe all the way. So, you guys probably don't want to watch me tear the gas tank and that stuff off, so gonna go ahead and get that out of the way and then see how to go about the rest of it. Sorry about not zooming you back out. See you in a bit. Well, I got the gas tank and some of the shrouding off, and I thought, you know, maybe I better, I'm going to squirt a little diesel fuel in this injector. Just fill up the fuel line here. And turn it over and see if that pump actually works. really make any difference as far as the pump that's going up and down. I'll drop down a little bit. And the fuel's going someplace out of the hose. Seems like I should have seen something by now. It's got probably not a good place to be in case it decides to squirt. Well, I'm not seeing anything squirt, so it's not a good sign because I don't know anything about injection pumps other than they're really finicky. But I guess I can learn. I'm assuming that this spring is pulling it wide. It's wide open. I can see the lever on the pump moving in there, so let me do a little more monkeying. I'll turn you back on if I figure something out. Now I filled the hose up again and turned it about a half a dozen times, and it's pumping a little bit of fuel out of there, so maybe she'll be alright. Don't know. That's a good sign, I think. Okay, I'm going to tear some more stuff apart. Okay, before I got too far along, I thought I'd find the timing marks, and there's two marks on the crankshaft gear, and there's a mark right there, so it's pretty obvious. And I also found out where that screw come from. There's a screw missing on the governor here. There's supposed to be two screws, one here and one there, and that one's gone. So apparently that's where it came from. And I put some caps over the injection pump so we don't get any dirt in there. I got the shroud off. I'm going to try to get this flywheel off. It's got a really large nut there. And of course it's metric. Closest thing I could find, I got an 1 5/8 wrench that'll fit. Fits on two of the sides, but doesn't fit on the others. I got a pair of vice grips down here, so I'm not sure how this is going to go. But oh boy. There, we did there. Has a lock ring on there too. Doesn't look like it's ever been tampered with, so. Just a stub shaft on there, I guess. Place for a keyway, but there's no key, of course. So, give it a tap. No, I didn't think so. So we got a place for pullers, so if I have some metric bolts, we'll be able to get a puller on there, so give me a few minutes. Okay, found my puller, and I found 3 bolts, finally. That aren't long enough. Yeah, this puller's got an awful long. I don't think that's going to go back far enough. No. Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to rethink this one. Go look for a different puller. Okay, same puller, same bolts. but I discovered that this end will come off. It's just got a O-ring. Got a groove in here and an O-ring on there, so it pops off. So that gave me enough so I could get it on there. So, oh boy. Yeah, let's see what this does for it. It's already been hit a bunch, so I'm not going to hurt her any. Didn't do anything for it. Okay, well, we'll go find a propane torch and put a little heat on her, see what that does for it. I don't know if I felt a little bit of something different there. Yeah, there she comes. Apparently she's a snug fit, not a taper. Oh, I didn't expect that. The fan's plastic. Good thing I didn't get carried away with the torch. Yeah. That's not big enough. Yeah, we'll just wait a little bit. No, that key was in there pretty good. Gonna have to get that off there before take these bolts out. See if we can get her out of there with a pair of dikes. Yeah, that's kind of warm too. Boy, that's a rugged key. Okay, now we should be able to take those bolts out. Not sure what size those are, maybe 12. Or maybe this size. And they're not coming hard, we'll continue with a crescent wrench. Oh, should I lean on that shaft? Okay. I'll find something to clean that shaft up so I don't mess that seal up when I pull that cover off. Okay. We'll see. This ought to do the job, doesn't it? Maybe. No, I don't think there's anything else holding it. I'm not going to get too violent here. Seems awful sturdy yet. Sure I'm not missing something. No, I'm sure there's a nice big ball bearing right there. I'm not sure if it's going to come off the crank or it's going to come out of the housing. I would assume the housing. I think I'm going to go ahead and clean up all this dirt and crap, and I'll take that torch and I'll warm this plate up just a little bit. I'm not sure if that's aluminum or cast iron. I think it might be iron. I'll get a magnet and see. I'll let you know. But I'm going to get that cleaned up and warm it up and then try bumping it off of there. Okay, I'm not getting any cooperation. I pulled the rod cap off. And I think I'm going to pull this governor off. Get the other, well, the other screw wasn't tight either. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay, so this is what the governor looks like. And it looks like there's a hole through there and a place for something. I'm wondering if it was supposed to have a spring on it or something to limit the travel. I don't know, a lot of mysteries with this one because I don't have a clue about it and can't find any info about it so far. So now I'm not sure what goes on with that gear. What's holding that on there? Well, I see a keyway and there's a big ball bearing behind it. And the gear is smaller than the bearing. So if the bearing stays on, it would come to gear and that would all come out with a crankshaft. So maybe I'll do a little more. I guess taking that off really didn't accomplish anything other than I could see what's going on. Pieces I tore off, you'd think it would be getting a little bit lighter. It does move, so it's not stuck on the case, it's just the bearings that are holding it up. Trying to get the rod so it's not in the way, but Maybe I'll have to pull the head off and pull that piston right out of there in order to... Probably better do that rather than do some damage, so I think we'll see if we can get the head off next. I guess nothing else for having fun tearing her apart. Looks like I gotta take the valve cover off. I see, holy mackerel, about a quarter of a turn and it come off. Must have only been holding by hardly anything. So this piece here looks like a piece of rubber. I don't know if somebody jammed that in there to keep it from leaking or what, but that's on the exhaust valve, so I bet you that was some kind of a decompression. Gee, I'm surprised those springs aren't very tough. Okay, that's neither here nor there. I guess I can leave that assembled. We'll just pop these bolts here off. Go get a... I'm gonna have to get a socket for that. Or a wrench. Let me find the right tools and we'll tear her off of there. Okay, 17mm. It's the only one that come decent. Not sure what we're going to have for head gasket. Hopefully it's like a copper ring or something that we can reuse. Looks like the rocker tubes are staying with the head. Kind of reminds me of the old Volkswagen stuff. Oh, we got a screw in there. I didn't see that. Yeah, looks like there might be some kind of a copper gasket right there. Alright, let's put this aside. Okay, so I just went to set that down and the rocker arm fell off. There's supposed to be a snap ring on there. And there isn't. All kinds of interesting things we're finding here. Wonder where all that stuff went. Okay, so that's part of the... Now let's see if we can get that piston out of there. Oh, the whole chuck's gonna come off. Maybe. Okay, so why isn't that coming off? Okay, now, okay, so come off like that. So this is the flywheel side. I'm going to go and mark this so I know that that's the flywheel side, and mark this so we get everything back together, the right orientation. So I'll be back. Okay, got it marked. Now I can pull this piston out of there. See what kind of surprises we got there. The cylinder looks nice. No ridge on it or anything. There's the piston. We've got a oil ring on the bottom and 3 compression rings. Iron rod. There's no bearing there. Either it fell off down in the bottom. I don't see it stuck on the crank, so it's either in the bottom there or else it's not there at all. Okay, so now let's see if, oh, push rods. Well, they both look alike, so I don't think I'm going to bother marking those. Okay, let's see how we make out now with this. Still not coming. Alright, let me do some exploring and try to figure out what's going on. See you in a bit. Well, I still haven't got it apart. And looking down in the crankcase, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see. Got a flashlight there. I'm seeing there's some oil in there, and I see the other half of the rod bearing, which doesn't look great. And I see 2 springs. And don't know what else is in there. But I think the reason I wasn't getting this off, I think that crankshaft's going to stay on that front plate because of that big bearing. And I think the crankshaft's got to be in a certain position to come out. I think there's a place for the counterweights to clear the casting. So I'm going to try that, but it's not going to be today because the wifey just announced that the spaghetti was ready. So, see you in another day. Now once I got the crank in the right position, you can see there's kind of a bump right there for the counterweights to come out through. And it came out. And this is what I wound up with Anyway, it's got a massive ball bearing in that end. And this is iron. And I got more questions than I'm getting answers. The crankshaft doesn't look terrible. The bearing does look terrible. I haven't figured out how this thing gets oil. There's no dipper on it. I don't see any oil pump. But yet it's got a hole in the crankshaft for oil. And this piece right here, I'm not sure what it is. Now, I'm going to do some more exploring. But maybe this thing gets oil somehow from in there. The depth of the oil, maybe this bottom of the rod does dip in there, I'm not sure. But if that gets oil in this piece somehow and centrifugal force puts it up through there and comes out this hole maybe for the rod bearing. Because I don't see any other way for it to get oil. Yeah. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. This is the rod with the insert bearing, and there's no holes for oil to get in like it does on most ones with splashed lubrication. So this bearing's got oil by way of that hole. And this bearing is pretty roughed up, but it didn't seem to hurt the crank. And so far I've done a little research and I haven't been able to find any bearings that match the dimensions that I'm getting. And okay, also I went fishing in the bottom there, and there wasn't two springs, it was one spring that was damaged. It's got must have got caught in something in there. And this spring is the one that goes on the governor. It goes on there. I don't know if you remember me saying that there was something missing. And here's the special nut that goes on there. It was laying down in the bottom too. So it goes on there. And then there's supposed to be a cotter key through there once you get it in the right position. And that is the spring load for the governor. So that mystery is solved. Looking at everything else, it looks like it might be okay. The cylinder looks fine, the piston looks fine. And I spent a few more hours looking at pictures of diesel engines, and I found one that's spelled USHA that looks the closest to this, but I can't find one that looks exactly like this, but has this same pattern on the top of the piston, and the dipstick looks the same, and the general overall engine components look very similar. That's the closest one I found, but I still can't find any information on that particular brand. So I'm still researching, and I'm trying to come up with a plan for this rod bearing. And I know they used to pour Babbitt for rod bearings, and I don't know if it would be possible to pour Babbitt in here by way of a jig of some kind, a thin layer, and then actually make a jig to set this rod up, and maybe use a Bridgeport or something to bore it out to the correct size. Not sure if I get that desperate or if I want to try something like that. I guess it's no good this way. I might as well try something. But I'm going to do some more research. And I think the next thing to do is to get all this stuff cleaned up so I can inspect it a little better. And yesterday the wife was real impressed when I went in with all them black diesel crap on my hands. So I think I'll take a couple hours and get this cleaned up, and maybe I'll call this a video for now, because it may take me a while to do some more research and checking out of this engine, whether it's gonna turn into a parts machine or a keeper. So I guess if you enjoyed this video so far, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe. We'll see you next time. Not sure if it's going to be this project, or we'll start something new while I'm trying to figure out what to do with this one. So anyway, see you then.